In this video, I want to talk about something that's one of the kind of coolest features of working in a virtual environment. And you can see in VMware Workstation 8, it's right here at the bottom of this first column, and that is the ability to virtualize a physical machine. So we can basically reach across the network to another physical machine, more or less make an image of that entire hard disk, turn it into a virtual disk, and then have a virtual machine running on our host system that's a duplicate of that computer. A couple of ways to kick this off in Workstation, then I'm going to talk to you about what all's involved. I can either kick off from the icon right here, and notice when I click it, it's going to tell me that I haven't done anything like this before, so it's going to have to install VMware vCenter standalone product, and if I click OK, it'll download that and then it'll continue through the steps. I can also go up here in VMware Workstation and click on File, and you'll notice virtualize a physical machine. Pretty straightforward there. So what I want to do here is let's talk about what's involved in virtualizing a physical machine. Now keep in mind, I've got a computer out here, a physical computer, and I want to virtualize that and put it into the VMware virtual environment. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about here. First of all, when you create a virtual machine from a Windows physical machine, this is also known as P2V. Okay, or physical to virtual. It almost seems like it should be F to V, but you know how it is, PH and F and all that. So anyway, the thing you need to watch here is the preparation. Your physical machine must be running a Windows OS. Now that's somewhat limiting for some people, but that's just the way it is at this point. And you will have to have administrative rights on the physical machine. That just makes sense. Otherwise, you could just grab anybody's machine, virtualize it, and then you have a copy of it. Now, you're going to have reliable network access to that physical machine. And by reliable, I mean it's not, intermittent going up and down. The network access works great for 15 minutes and then it might get kind of funky. Now, this process could run for quite a while, so you want to make sure you have reliable, fast, consistent access to that physical machine. And you're going to want to turn off the firewall on the physical machine to keep all kinds of issues from coming up. And if you're making a virtual version of a physical machine that's running Windows XP, you want to turn off simple file sharing on XP. Now, if you're making a virtual copy of a Windows 7 or a Vista machine, you want to go in there and set user account controls to never notify. Otherwise, you can get pop-ups that cause you problems there. Now, the single most important requirement that you're going to run into with virtualizing a physical machine is going to be patience. A 500 gigabyte drive can take several hours to complete. I've seen this. Now, the last one that I did, I grabbed a Windows physical machine and I virtualized it into a VMware Fusion environment running on an Apple Mac, and that took about 18 hours to do. So a 500 gig drive can take several hours. Normally, I hear people talking about 5 to 6 when it's Windows to Windows. And here's the next thing that can surprise you. You're going to have to reactivate your operating system, the Windows operating system, the first time you start up your virtual machine, because it's going to recognize that the hardware change has occurred. That whole disk drive serial number thing and all that makes Windows reactivate. So you're going to have to reactivate. So keep that in mind. If you've got a copy, you're not sure about the product key, any of that kind of stuff, don't want to go too far here. But if you've got any kind of issues like that, you're going to have to reactivate. If you get a failure, call Microsoft. Just step through the reactivation process. I've never had a problem dealing with Microsoft on the telephone having to call and reactivate a piece of software. Now, when the preparation has been completed, you want to go into Workstation, choose File, Virtualize a Physical Machine, just like I demonstrated a little earlier, and then you're going to, after you install the vCenter software, it's going to come back and you're going to enter the host name or the IP address of the physical machine being virtualized. It'll make a connection to it. Then you're going to enter the username and password, an administrative username and password on that physical machine, and then you're going to enter the name for the new virtual machine along with the file location of where you want to store the files that are being virtualized. Then it'll ask you to enter your username and password on the host system. This also needs to be administrative level, and then you just click finish. Then you just kind of sit and wait, and after a little while, could be usually a few hours, you're going to have a virtual machine that looks like just exactly what the physical machine looked like at the time that you did this import. Now, this is really neat. I like this for backing up a physical machine, for having a copy of it that works, for translating. If I've got a laptop or a physical machine that I don't use very much, I can put it in a virtual world, carry it around with me, and I've got it if I need it, and so forth. So anyway, that's kind of the lowdown on virtualizing a physical machine. This is an incredible use of virtualization technology, and it's very, very easy to make happen in the VMware Workstation environment.